many triathletes are looked at to be very selfish and self-serving, and that's what we find very ironic with what we do. We take what we do and we try to be very selfless with it. The people that were in the video, the first guy I raced with, his name's Eric. He's got cerebral palsy. He's deaf. His parents said that day when you saw him like this, they'd never seen him so excited in his life. He's deaf, like as I said, when they sound the cannon in the very beginning, he heard it because he jumped and he put his arms up in the air. They'd never seen that kind of excitement. The second guy, his name's Jesse. He's blind, also has cerebral palsy. His aunt is very involved with our group now. Again, the same similar situation of he's never felt this, or he's never the excitement. They've never seen that from him. And then the last guy, Jeff, he's 55 years old. The little guy, the one I was running with, cerebral palsy. Very hard to understand. If you just look up to him, you'd think the guy didn't understand anything. He's very intelligent. His body doesn't work, and his verbal abilities aren't as good as the way you and I are. So if you're asking yourself why would you do this? Why, what prompted you to just go out and do this? As you heard, my previous life consisted of being an extremely heavy drinker every day. I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker, cigarettes only, and I loved to eat. So I was about 50, 60 pounds heavier. My whole life I was an athlete. I played baseball at Wayne State in Detroit. And then once those days were done is when things really started to spiral out of control. Then about 4 years ago, a friend of mine from Michigan who lives down here, he's a dentist, I was out with him and I was out with a friend of his. And it was this night in particular that really woke me up. His friend was out of control. For whatever reason, I was coherent that night. I remembered the night. Next day I called my friend. I said, what was going on with him? He was crazy. It was my friend's response. I still feel it now as I stand in front of you. We were on the phone. I was facing my closet in my bedroom. And he said, Greg, when you get going, you're not far from that. And it was like the stunned feeling. Like, really? Like, no, I'm not that kind of drinker. What do you, no. But I was. But I knew in that moment, it wasn't the sadness, it wasn't the fear that I experienced in the past. It was a very quick realization. It was, you always wanted to be a leader, it's time to become that man, you're done, there's no more drinking, there's nothing to be sad about. Because in the past, when you give things up, there's that, oh, I miss it, and you try to rash. There was none of that. I'm done, it's time to move on, and it's time to be the leader that you know that you're supposed to be. And it was really that quick for me. So what I did at that point was I decided I needed to pursue my passion. I needed to figure out what those were. You need to set some goals, because goals are very important. But then you need to have a purpose, and I believe that purpose needs to extend outside of yourself. When I was looking into the Rotary Club, I noticed service above self. I was like, why did I come up with it? Obviously you guys had already come up with it, but I love it. It's exactly what I believe. When you start giving outside of yourself and beyond yourself, it's very hard to stay stuck in your own little world. And so I love the motto, the service above self. So with the passion, the athletics was something I always enjoyed. Great. Triathlon, you get 3 sports for the price of 1. It's perfect for an addict. I loved it. So I had that part figured out. Looking back, I don't understand why I did it, because again, it's swimming, biking, and running. I couldn't swim, I didn't own a bike, and I was fat and couldn't run really well. And then I look back again, and what I had done when I decided to make this change, because addicts, you know the way they are. They don't just put a toe in it. So what I did was I signed up for a half Ironman. For those of you that don't know what it is, a half Ironman is a 70-mile race. It's a 1.25 mile swim, 56-mile bike ride, and a 13-mile run. And the really fast guys that do them in about 4 hours. But I also had a passion for people. And, I didn't know which population to work with. I always felt as an underdog throughout my life. As you heard, I got picked on, teased, because, my parents just laughed it off. That you'll show them. Well, that doesn't work, especially in an all-boys school. It just doesn't work. So I knew I cared a lot about people, and I thought, what better population than the people like Eric, the people like Jesse, you know, when you start spending time with them, you see the way they're treated. You see the discrimination. You see how people look at them and just assume that they're stupid. They're not. So I thought, you know what? Somebody needs to be their voice. I love people. That's what I'm going to do. And so what I did was I incorporated something that helps me, the athletic part of it, but something that I could give back. And that's obviously what I do when I participate in these races with these people. So that's my purpose. You know, in the past, how many people have tried to lose weight? You lose your 20 pounds. What happens? People tell you you look great. Oh, I notice your chin's not as flabby, and your legs and your hips. And then what happens after you get to that point where now everybody just expects you to be 20 pounds less? You know, it's not new anymore. What keeps you going? It's very easy to get lulled to sleep at that point. And so what I learned from having gone through that was I needed an ongoing purpose. And I needed something that didn't revolve just around me. And that's where it comes in working with the people that I work with. So if you're asking, you know, I don't want to, am I trying to convince you to go out and do triathlons and pull people? Absolutely not. You know, what I'm hoping to do is to encourage you to explore what are you passionate about? And what are you doing beyond yourself with it? How are you giving back with it? You know, this, and again, I put this to practice in my own life. I thought that I had gone through hell 4 years ago when I, reached the bottom with the drinking. And, well, you know what? Life happened. You know, through my change, I'm now going through a divorce. I have custody of a 2-year-old. My entire family's in Michigan, including her mother. I work, trying to do the nonprofit. And I don't say any of this to make you feel bad for me or feel sad. I'm just telling you, I'm the average everyday guy. And I'd be lying to you if in the midst when things were really bad, right now it's settling down, but when it was really bad, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I didn't have days where I'd go home and go, why am I not drinking anymore? Well, I'll tell you why. It's that. It's those people. It's the races that I've done, the races that I'm going to do, and the ones I don't even know I'm going to do. That's ultimately, that's what kept me going. And that would be my one bit of advice or hope is that, you know, whatever it is you're struggling with or whatever it is that's going on in your life, that you would look outside of yourself and that you would explore what you're passionate about, set some goals, and do something for other people with that. That's my ultimate goal of being here. We have a very exciting month next month. I don't know if anyone's heard of the Rev 3 that's coming to Venice. The county's behind it, and they're making a big deal about it. No? Maybe not? Yeah. We're going to be a part of that. It's a half Ironman, but we're going to be doing it as a relay. It's going to be nationally covered, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited. The people love being on TV that we race with. There's some real hams that absolutely just love it. So we're very excited about that. We have some brochures in the back. If you ever want to come out to the races, help, work with the people, because sometimes we just need people to sit at the tents with, because we do race with 3 people every day, or the days that we do it. So if I'm swimming with one, there's 2 people waiting at the tent, waiting for their turn to go on the bike or waiting to go run. So, we do need help. The people do need people there. If you're ever looking for volunteer opportunities like that, you can go on our website. You can contact us through the site. And again, I want to thank you all for allowing me to come in. As I said, I'm very passionate about it. This all started as a dream and a kid in Michigan that thought one day he'd like to help people. And I definitely went through hell at points. My own choices that I had made, but I went through hell. But if you have that purpose, it will keep you going. You just got to look for it, and you got to go after it.
Thank you.
Thank you.